Good morning. This is Lakhi Singh, the property fixer, live on a Monday morning, and I have very special guest for you today. And we're going to be talking about how you can make money in property working from home. So, good morning to all of you. Hope you all had a great weekend. And today is a beautiful day because the daylight hours have changed now, so we've got access to a lot more light and a lot more sunshine. So hopefully you're going to have a much longer, brighter, beautiful day than you usually do in the winter months. So that's exceptionally good news, and that's going to hopefully brighten things up. I presume the government's also decided to create the unlocking the lockdown during this nicer time of the year as well. So we get access to a lot more of the beauty and the nature in the UK to do our walks and the like, and also enjoy the new measures so that we're not curfewed as much. So I'm going to bring on this young lady, is it Raman? 1 second. Good morning, Ramanji.
Good morning. How are you, Lakhi?
I'm very well, thank you. Raman, first of all, do you Sat Sri Akal?
Sat Sri Akal.
Do you speak Punjabi?
I do.
That's what we should do the show in Punjabi, I think, a bit like Sunrise Radio.
Yeah, that would be good.
I was actually listening to Sunrise Radio earlier.
Right.
I thought, okay, got Lakhi Singh and Raman Kaur today. So we can actually bring up the vibe to a different level altogether with the Punjabi style.
Yes, it's a nice remix.
Yeah, are you, which part of India are you originally from? Which part of Punjab?
Punjab, so I think it's Jalandhar, yeah.
Have you been back to visit the family?
Well, I've been going over my lifetime many years. I think I've been about at least 10 times.
Really?
So it's been good. But I'd like to go more regularly. Obviously, at the moment, there's some issues over there. So it's a bit hard to go over. Obviously, with lockdown as well, of course. But with the protests and everything, it's even harder.
Yeah, you've got a lot going on internationally. Pretty much everything seems to be going a bit haywire. You've got Brexit, you've got COVID-19, and you've got you can only fly now if you've got a good reason to fly.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually saying to a couple of friends, there's a bit of a joke, which is I've got friends' anniversary. I haven't seen them for 10 years.
Oh.
That could be I haven't seen you for 10 years. I need to go and see them. It's the 10-year anniversary. You know, that could be a reason, couldn't it?
Yeah.
I just wonder how does one define what are the reasons you can actually travel and you can't travel? Because what might be essential to one person may be critical to another. What may be critical to another may be completely non-essential to somebody else. How can somebody actually decide that for you? Because, you know, there may be certain religious things that you've got to attend, or there's a certain type of anniversary which might be critical to you in your culture. Who decides these things? I mean, is that something that governments can actually decide? I'm just wondering.
Well, to be honest, they're the governing bodies of a country, so at the end of the day, they have the right to decide these things. But I guess it depends on how secularized they are, how accepting they are, and how whether the people in the country have put on pressure to the government to accept them as they are and allow them to celebrate things and allow their essentials to become the same essentials that other people have. And to some extent, it's been accepted. I think perhaps there's more leniency here than there are in other governments, but it all depends. It completely depends. They do have the right, and it is down to safety at the end of the day. But then, I think it's down to your personal belief. There are people who believe I mean, a majority of people, I guess, in our culture, definitely, when you're going to go, you're going to go. What's going to happen is going to happen. So, in that respect, do we, not fly or go visit anniversaries or do things that are special for us? Do we just stay indoors and not fight for it? I think it's a personal belief, but the government's ultimately going to do what they believe is safe, isn't it?
Well, for example, might have a childhood friend who's become a sister in this rookery. Question is, is that, although I was sort of joking about the 10-year anniversary, that could be in a more of a religious or cultural context. You're it's a bit like, get in the English culture, you've got the godmother, they come for christenings. We've got quite a lot of distinct things within the Punjabi culture, which is called Rakhi, for example. And then you want to tie the Rakhi around your sister, and you obviously, and you obviously want to give a gift to her. So the question is, would that be allowed, do you think?
Probably
That's
not.
one on Monday morning, but there we go.
Yeah. Probably not. I think it depends on whether the government or whoever is the deciding body can understand the significance of the celebration or the ceremony. I think that's what it depends on. And if we have people there who are multicultural, who do understand the significance of it, then perhaps they may, But
Yeah, I think my bad guess, to be honest with you, just on a more of a serious note, I think it's unlikely that they'll allow that, because they'll probably think there's going to have a good reason, and they'll probably think, okay, well, a birthday is probably not even good enough, maybe. So you understand? So it could be, if it's your granddad's 100th birthday or something, I don't know. Will they allow that? I don't know. Anyway, today's topic, before we go on, we've got a big shout out from good morning from Sonia Lambert. I've got a few different platforms which I can see on here. So good morning from Berhan Noor, Lan Pasha, John Smith, Hazel Parker, Gudasman. Sorry, that was just a joke. Gudasman's not really.
Yeah, I didn't think. Okay. That's a good connection.
I won't really give you my joke. That's quite a bad joke when Gudasman when he visits Brixton. Have you heard that one yet?
No, I haven't. Go ahead.
No, I think I'll leave that one out. I think it might be it's going to be probably more embarrassing for me than the joke itself.
Okay.
I'll tell you it later. Otherwise, might be a bit non-PC, I think.
Okay.
Okay. So Raman, obviously last time you were on the show, I think I got delayed, and so it was only from part of the show. But this time round, we get a chance to have a chat and get engaged a bit more about your background. So tell me a little bit about yourself again. I think whereabouts are you based? And I know that you work from home and you're an accountant, and that you're like a spiritual accountant. So you bring people's spirits up and their numbers up as well somehow, which is always helpful. So tell us a bit more about where you're based and a little bit about your background. Where did you study? What did you do?
So I'm based in Barking and East London. That's where I work from, and that's most of where my business is, but it is nationwide. I do take clients nationwide as well and speak to people generally. About being a spiritual accountant, I think that's the first time I've heard anyone say that, apart from John on Friday. Last Monday, rather. A spiritual accountant, that's interesting. Can you bring somebody's numbers up? Yes, you can. If if you catch them in time, if you say to them, your numbers are looking a bit dodgy, perhaps we can do this, or perhaps, you can do this, and then they know exactly where they're going. And then, yes, of course, numbers can come up. It's not a problem.
I think brings up the question, do you, everything in business is about strategy, planning, organization, as well as obviously hitting your targets. Do you get involved in just forecasting and planning? Because ultimately that's a critical function of any business. But I'd say 95% of businesses don't really carry out that exercise unless they're probably like a mid-tier type or top-tier type organization where they have to, because they've got a lot of stakeholders and shareholders, and they've got to be seen to be actually be ticking all the boxes. But do you find any small businesses like a one-man band actually literally being organized to that extent? I mean, like even a 2-3 man company?
Not likely. It's not common at all. The majority do not do that because they don't see the need to do it, because there aren't any other stakeholders apart from, the close-knit people who are there within the company or the organization. However, the advice that I give and what I would say is, even if you are small scale, you should have a cash flow forecast. You should have a budget. You should have the management accounts on a monthly basis. And the only reason I'm saying that is because if in the future you do go, you're a bit highly geared, you have too much debt, and it's seen as a bad thing, then at least you can see where you're headed. And it's not just that, it's great for your credit purposes and for loan purposes. It makes a big difference if you have, a good structure, a good set of accounts and management accounts and forecasts. It looks really good to investors.
Okay, so I suppose we're talking about something that a lot of startup businesses, I know certainly I've actually, had I known all the fundamentals of accounting, I'd say maybe 20-30 years ago, then I think I'd probably be a lot more poised to be a lot more focused in terms of delivering things, because if you know what your numbers are, then you can be more specific about your cash flow and what sales targets you need, what resources you need. So I think a lot of these things are really basic for somebody like yourself. But how do you actually get small businesses to actually wake up and smell the coffee? Because if they just did some of these very basic things, which is basic housekeeping, it could fundamentally grow their business. Because I think it's probably quite a frustrating job actually being an accountant, because when you see people, you think, okay, if they only spent 2 hours doing this per week, that could make a difference of a couple of £100,000 for them per month, because that means they would be more aligned with their targets. I actually see that in my business quite a lot, or businesses, in terms of when I'm looking at the numbers. But how do you contain your frustration? Because I presume that is very frustrating, because but you can't really. If you try to do everything, then you probably end up pulling your hair out. But at the same time, where do you draw the line?
Well, yes, and I think that's a case-by-case basis. There are people who will understand. So if I'm sitting there and I'm doing a portfolio, I'm looking at somebody's case and I'm giving them a tax planning consultation, I will tell them that it's not just about tax, it's about, like what we spoke about, housekeeping. And if you're good at it, then it's simple, it's straightforward. I mean, I suppose when you're in it, you can see it. For me, it's very clear, it's very straightforward. And like you said, I mean, obviously it's clear for you as well, but it's not for other people. So I would use analogies that they understand, depending on whatever their business is and how important it is for them and what difference it could make, especially if you can show them in a monetary value, as in, this is how much you could save by doing this, just by this. And that's how I normally do it. But what point do I draw the line is, I think when you repeat it, I normally go 3 times. But 3 times, the 4th time I won't bother after that, because at the end of the day, it is down to, their business is personal to them. They are the person running it, and there's only so much advice that you can give. And after that, it is their decision.
Okay, well, we've got a special guest on as well today. What's the question? I think it's MC Fem, aka I can see her in the background because I've got a lot of high tech on my phone actually, even though I'm in the car. So, MC Fem, you put wave, and then you got a question for us, I presume. Is that right?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I've had a question. I've just had to get kids to school, do some work. All the questions have gone out of my head. But how is everybody? Happy Monday.
Yeah, happy Monday. So we've got two fabulous people now. So we've got the barking spiritual accountant, and we've got MC Fem. I mean, what more could I ask for on a Monday morning? I mean,
what more could a man want? I know. A blonde and a dark-haired girl. There we go. What a Monday you're having, Lakhi.
I think you're making me blush now, MC Fem. I don't think I have the skills to cope, actually.
Hi, Raman. Nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you too, Berry.
We haven't met before.
We haven't, no. How are you?
I'm okay, yeah. I mean, it's all like all Mondays. You think it's going to be relaxed. And I was working late last night, so yeah. But, sorry?
You can't tell you were working late last night.
Actually, I did go running. I go running every day. So I have ran 5K this morning by the beach. So
wow.
Quite early. But of course, I think because the clock has gone forward an hour, yeah, I'm kind of catching up. Because obviously it was dark this morning at 6:15.
Wow.
That's kind of strange. So I think MC Fem's got the good life, because I think, are you by the sea, aren't you? Is it,
yeah.
Brighton?
I'm down in Brighton, yeah. So we're just waiting for the staycation hordes to start arriving. It was crazy here last summer, and I don't know what's going to happen this Easter, because obviously we're still in a lockdown, but it's eased a bit today. So if the weather is good, I think it might be a bit crazy here this weekend. But I also have holiday lets, but we're not able to open them at the moment. So just having to police who's coming. Of course, it can just be key workers or construction people. But yeah, I have a feeling it might be a crazy weekend. So it's difficult because obviously when they come to the sea, there's nowhere open, there's no pubs, there's nothing. So it causes a lot of problems. So we'll see.
Okay, well, I think lots of stuff going on. I think with the pandemic, there's a huge flux of things happening over the next couple of months, and obviously it's affecting all of us. I mean, wanted to go back to today's topic, which is working from home, an opportunity. So with Lakhi Singh, the property fixer, we've actually got a sort of like an associate model where people can go out, well, not necessarily go out, but they can stay at home actually and do their work from home and set up an online business where they can help people in property. So I'm just wondering, just wanted to check with you guys, what do you make of such an opportunity? Do you think, which way do you, I think, let's speak to Raman first. Which way do you think the market's going? Because my guess is that by October, November time, finances are going to be a lot tighter for a lot of people, and especially property and business people, and they're going to have to restructure themselves. And I'm talking about people that are holding portfolios. Anybody that's got sort of cash flow businesses like rent or service accommodation, or they've got options and things, they may not be as badly affected. But anybody that's holding assets, their assets or their interest rates, if they go up, that's going to be a problem. So we've set up a model where people can introduce business to us, where they've got clients who've got a repossession matter, negative equity issue, they've got a finance issue, they've got a business cash flow issue. I think based upon our discussion with Raman last time, I think she was saying that that's probably going to be, keep us very busy. So Raman, just what's your take on the market? Do you think working from a home opportunity where you can help people in property and business is going to be pretty big? Because I think that's what I'm lining up to try and help people in this sort of weird sort of vacuum of where we are, because it's almost like an unknown territory. And I think September, October time is when it's going to start getting a bit dire. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I am in agreement with what you're saying. As soon as the government takes away the funding and the support and the help that they've provided, a lot of people are going to feel it, especially those who are geared higher, who have higher debt and negative equity. And yeah, they're definitely going to feel it. And to be honest, yes, at that point, they are going to need the support and they are going to need the help, and they will need to restructure. So everything that they have will need to be looked at to see how they can be helped. And they can be helped, that's the thing. Not to, sit there and think that there's nothing that can be done. There is still help. Even, you might be at the end of your rope and think that there's nothing you can do, but there is always something, there is always a way. Yeah, I think it will be. And I think your timing is right as well, towards the end of the year. Yes, September, October time.
Okay, so what's your thoughts, MC Fem? Because